receivers. I'm going to give you mine at the top. I think this guy's about to be DeAndre Hopkins when he was on the Texans when they were going 2-14. It's Calvin Ridley. I mean, Falcons are going to suck, but Ridley might get 120 or 130 catches this year. Ryan's just going to be targeting him. Fourth quarter, I mean, Ridley's about to go absolutely apeshit. He's going to be 9K within a week or two, 7,900. I think he's just going to go scorched earth. So I'm all over Ridley at the top.
It's too cheap.
Yeah. I mean, all the receivers technically are too cheap, but this week.
What about
they're going to be 9K,
that?
10K here.
What about below that? Who's some of your guys that you like below Ridley? If you're not on the top.
Love Terry McLaurin. I mean, the guy's been going off with no quarterbacks forever. Fitzmagic's going to put up numbers. I don't know if he's going to win, but he's going to put up numbers. He's going to take shots. I think Scary Terry's in a position to have a really big season. I also like both Carolina receivers and DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson just got his extension. I love Robbie Anderson. He might get 3 catches, 80 yards, and 2 touchdowns in a game, and he's going to kill it for us. I mean,
revenge game.
Yeah, so I just think that whole Carolina game, I think Carolina is primed this year to turn some heads. They're going to surprise a lot of people. So I really like that whole stack.
Okay.
How about you,
Jim?
I mean, Devontae Adams, $8,300 is a shitload of money to pay for a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like to pay that for him. I don't know if I can get there. He's just, I mean, he's a stud. We all know that. It's just, I don't know, man. I want to play Rodgers and I want to play Adams, right? It's just like one of those things, but that is a shitload of salary that I'm spending on those 2 players. And then if I want to play Aaron Jones, right? Like that's an expensive team stack that like, I just don't know if I can get there. Right. And if we're talking about, could I go all the way down to a Deontay Johnson for $2,000 less and get probably the same amount of production? Yeah, there's a legitimate shot at that, right? Yeah. So I don't know. He's somebody I'm really interested in, especially with Irv being out. I'm going to be all over Justin Jefferson. I mean, I know he's questionable. He's had this little shoulder thing. Again, what have you done for me lately? People haven't seen him play. Like, okay, that's fucking fine with me.
Yeah,
right? Like, let's fire this guy up.
People always get the sophomore slump thing going in their head.
Yeah, I mean, this kid is so special that, like, I just, I can't see it. He's somebody I'm going to be interested in. And then I don't really understand why Stephon Diggs is priced at $7,600. Do you guys have any like clues as to why? Because if you go look at his production last year, I think
DraftKings is scared of the Steelers.
Okay,
that's it.
Well, he had a pretty good game against the Steelers last year. He put up 32 fucking points against the Steelers last year.
Oh yeah, the Steelers corners don't scare me. Their front sevens was scary.
Exactly. Yeah. And Diggs is one of the guys that, Josh Allen will throw the ball deep to him, but Josh Allen will also throw it to him out of the slot. They'll throw crossers to him. Like, they'll throw anything to him. So, I think he's going to be my top option at receiver. If I'm paying up for receiver, it's going to be him and then Deontay Johnson. And again, the same reason why we're talking about some of the running backs is because it's just going to be the volume. I know where the volume is going to go in that offense. Mm-hmm. That's why Joe is playing Ridley, right? I like Ridley, right? But if I can use that $300 to upgrade my lineup somewhere else in a game that might be really competitive and kind of back and forth with 2 really good offenses, that's something that definitely interests me. So those are kind of the 2 guys up top that I'm targeting.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you guys. I mean, if I can get to Adams, obviously I will. But I think Ridley's just as good of a play, if not better. I do actually have a little respect for the Saints defensive backs versus, where Jefferson and Ridley, I have like really no concern about the Eagles defensive backs or especially Cincinnati. I mean, I looked at their depth chart. Like I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe they're rolling this out. So yeah, those guys up top for me, I love. And then the only guy above 7K you guys didn't mention that I just am rock hard for is AJ Brown. Dude, the Cardinals' best corner, arguably, just retired, Malcolm Butler.
And he's not even good.
He's not good. Like, they have no one who can cover in Arizona. Like, Budda Baker's the only one that's good in that secondary. Yeah. I don't know who matches up with AJ Brown. Like, I think the Cardinals with Chandler Jones and JJ Watt, like, they've got a fairly decent front seven to, like, contain Henry a little bit. I don't think Tennessee's going to come out and give him 35 carries to start the season off. I just think AJ Brown's, like, uncoverable. And what you were saying earlier in the show, Joe, I think that relationship with Julio is going to take a little time. I mean, he doesn't practice. I don't think Julio's practiced since he got signed. So give me AJ Brown all day Sunday. Like, I'll get him into as many lineups as I can.
I like it. My next guy is below 5K. I really like my cheap receivers. If anyone listened last year, you guys know that I'm going to go down for the receivers almost every week. I like Mecole Hardman, 4,800. Vinny, you were talking about him in our last show. It's glaring that he is about to go off this year. The guy's speed is electric out of Georgia. I mean, the Chiefs have brought him on nice and slowly. He hasn't been rushed into the role. Now he's primed in the number 2 receiver slot. He's going to be on the field every single play with Mahomes throwing the ball and then probably having to double Tyreek and worry about Kelsey and worry about all the other problems. Mecole Hardman is a great play at 4,800. There's no way he stays under 6K, 6,500 over here the next couple of weeks. I'm obsessed with him. I'm probably going to play him in too many lineups this week, but Mecole Hardman's a huge play of mine.
Yeah, and to your point with the cheap receivers, I have 10 guys below 5K that I like. So it's just like, to Jim's point, I know the traditional build is like get a top end stack, get one good running back, and then pay down the rest. Like, I have no problem going 2 high end running backs and going 2, maybe even 3 receivers that are cheap. Like, I'm okay with that, honestly, this week. To your point, some of the guys that I like down low, we talked about the Vikings a little bit. T. Higgins at 4,700 is just criminal. I mean, he's not like an explanation is needed. He had a great season last year. Devontae Smith and Rieger, 4,537. And then I'm sure Jim will touch on the guy I saw. I'll leave him. But Jalen Waddle at 3,600, I really like for Miami. I mean, they took this kid like top 10. Like, they're going to get him the ball for sure. What's his name? Who's the receiver is always hurt? Will Fuller. He's suspended for the first game of the season.
He's suspended,
one less target to compete with. Again, 3,600, man. Like, it does not take a lot to pay that off. And then the only other guy I have down there I like is kind of my bring back at 3K for some of the Carolina stacks is Elijah Moore for the Jets. Was their second round pick. He's going to be a starting receiver. And Jim, what you were saying about the Jets, like, if they have to keep up with, we think Carolina kind of stomps them out. 3K, I mean, come on. Like, that's just one touchdown and you're like, okay, you're feeling pretty good about it. So, Jim.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were talking earlier about our philosophy of going double barrel, McCaffrey and Cook. I mean, you could start your wide receiver lineup at Brandon Cooks at 5,300, and there's a guy that's going to get, maybe 65% of the target share for his team. Yeah, Houston's fucking terrible, right? But they don't have anybody else. I don't know why they cut Kiki QT because he actually played well for them last year. The Colts signed him. He's on the Colts practice squad now. Like I don't really get that. And then you go down, you've got Sterling Shepard, who is literally the only healthy Giants wide receiver right now. And
what's he at?
He's at 5,100. Everyone's had this big love affair with Danny Dimes this offseason. Oh, Danny Dimes is so good, blah, 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 all this stuff. It's like, all right, well, who the fuck is he going to throw the ball to? Sterling Shepard's a perfectly serviceable player. Another guy that I really like in that Carolina game, Corey Davis. I mean, are we just forgetting about Corey Davis? I mean, he actually had a great preseason, right?
Yeah.
They went out and signed this guy to be, their number 1 wide receiver. They've got him, Crowder, and Mims. I mean, they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. He's a guy that I'm all over. Same price as Hardman. The Hardman play is obvious, right? I love it.
Yeah.
But Jamar Chase at 4,800.
And no one's going to be on him with like these
the headlines have been burying him.
He's already a bust.
Oh my God, he's had a couple of drops. Isn't it funny? Like Ayuk had a couple of drops, and Ayuk's fine. No one's like worried about Ayuk. But then this guy goes and has a couple of drops, and it's like the world is falling. Like, oh my God, this guy fucking sucks. Like, what's his problem? This guy's in his head. Like, blah 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 blah. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is something that like he's playing with the guy he played with in college. Like, they're gonna be just fine. They're gonna have to throw the shit out of the ball. Again, Jameson Crowder 4,600, Jerry Jeudy 4,800. Devontae Smith.
I like Cortland Sutton too. It's like 52.
Yeah, like there's no like I get why people want to play the guys up top. I get it, right? But there's no reason why you couldn't pick 3 guys from down here and be totally fine. I mean, if you want to get a piece of Green Bay, you got Lazard down here at 4,000, right?
Dude, you got Valdez Scaling at 3,700.
Yeah, I mean, look, Rager is
probably going to catch a touchdown week 1.
Rager is a guy that I think is a solid player. He had a little bit of issues at the beginning of camp this year, but he's solid, right? He's playing Atlanta, $3,700. And then Vinnie left him for me, like, thank you.
I gotcha.
Terrence Marshall. I mean, he's a guy that even if they get up and they, start kicking some ass, they're going to take McCaffrey out.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take out Robbie Anderson because he's prone to injuries. They're going to play DJ Moore a few less snaps, but they're going to keep giving the kid the ball.
Yeah,
right. He's going to stay in there the whole game.
Right.
And I mean, he's going to be a fantastic asset. Their tight end game is not great. He's a little bit bit of a bigger body where in the red zone, they can look to try and get him the ball.
Dude, and again,
I like it.
At that price, 3 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown is like it's a gigantic win. And that's very, very possible.
At the dead min, right? 4x is 12 points.
Right.
That's 5 catches for 70 yards. Then he gets a touchdown, fall into the end zone. Or you happen to break one off and get the 100-point, 3-point bonus, right?
Yeah.
Let's not forget about that, right? In DraftKings, you get the extra points if you go over 100 points. So, there's a lot. You're just going to have to figure out where you want to go with receiver. But I definitely think the optimal way to build this week is to pay up for your known quantities at running back, whether it's a Mixon or whoever it might be, right? But to pair 2 of those guys up and go cheap with the receivers. Maybe you get one Ridley in there, but then you can go way down for some of these other guys, and you can certainly make it work, no problem.
Yeah.
Yep.